Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching in the world, welcome along to One Hub Racing and the Pinnacle Tier, season number 14 and the 17th round of the season, which takes us to the legendary Suzuka circuit here in Japan. My name is Kieran McGinley, and joining me in the commentary box, of course, is Mr. Jamie Metcalf. Jamie, how are you tonight?
I'm very good, yeah. Obviously, hoping for another good race. And last week was decent, but this track's obviously an epic track racing tonight, and it should be a good one. Yeah,
it's one of the fan favourites and driver favourites as well. I mean, you've had time racing here, Jamie. How did you find this track?
Well, the first time I raced here, I did quite well. I got a really good result. The last time I raced here, I had a bit of a nightmare. I spun off countless occasions, and I think I must have pitted about 3 or 4 times, but in the end I was just pitting go for a fast lap because I do love driving this track and I want it just to really test it to the limits. So yeah, I was really pushing for a lap at the end, and yeah, but the race didn't go too well, but I had some fun at the end, so what matters, I suppose.
And it is the only figure of 8 circuit on the calendar, more so that it used to be solely the Honda test track. Then it got a bunch of upgrades. It got made into a fully fledged race circuit and has really been one of the staples on the Formula 1 calendar. A couple of years it's been swapped out. I remember in 2008 the Japanese Grand Prix was replaced by the Fuji Speedway. But other than that, Jamie, it's been a staple on the calendar here in Japan.
Yeah, ever since like the mid 80s, and obviously back in the day it used to be the track where championships were decided. I believe about 10 world championships have been decided here, and obviously there have been infamous moments in the past between Senna and Prost. Obviously, hopefully not going to have any of that tonight, but yeah, obviously it's a fun track. It's quite a hard track, quite a very high downforce track. There's not many braking zones around here, so what you need to be quick on here, you need a good balance aerodynamically, especially in that sector 1.
Well, let's see how we get on tonight. Yeah, hopefully we won't have any of those similar infamous incidents as we head towards tonight. But so far, 17 drivers in the lineup tonight. And more to the point, Jamie, only 23 points between Westy and Cass. And then we've got Flavel also there in 3rd place. Leon, I think, has dropped out entirely, so Flavel will now be promoted basically up to 3rd place, which will put James Slater up to 4th. Forbes will be in 5th. Will G took his first race win of the season last time out. He will now be up to 6th place in the championship. Watch out for him as he looks to try and get a top 5 finish this season. Jarno here, it started well for him this season, hasn't quite gone to plan. Even he's been saying it's not been going his way. The luck's maybe run out, but he's still there, 7th place in the championship. Jonas Ulbrich there will be in 8th, with Clone in 9th and Skeven rounding out the top 10. And in all honesty, 23 points separating Westy and Cass right now. 38 points between Westy and the now retired Leon, 69 points between Westy and Flavel. There's only a handful of races right now, but Flavel, who started off this season with a point to prove, currently 3rd place in the championship. Jamie, what's not gone to plan here for Flavel?
I think he's just had a couple of mistakes, a bit of bad luck, a couple of mistakes, but last week in Russia, that was sort of return to form for him. He got a good podium finish, and I think he can take confidence in that. Obviously, he's the outsider of the 3, but if he can win tonight, go on a little run, and maybe put Western a little pressure, you never know. We have seen in the past big leads get turned around, so I wouldn't give up hope yet if I was Ollie. There's still 5 races to go, and they're all quite tricky tracks, so mistakes can happen, and I think Ollie just needs to keep the faith, I think, because he's still in there, only just,
but that's sometimes all you need it to be. But it's been a great performance from Westy so far this season. 3 wins to his name, 10 podiums, been on the podium more times than any other driver on the grid. May not have the most wins on his side, but when you take away Leon's wins, he now does have the most race wins, if that makes sense. Leon did have 6 wins. Westy will now take over most wins in the season. He has 3 wins to his name. It's been a really good season for Westy. Top of the table, 221 points. Can he make it to the end of the season still at the top of the table, Jamie?
I have to say, with recent form, you have to say he has to be the big favourite. he's definitely pulled that gap, because of him and Cass were retired after Italy, but after 2 races the gap's almost up to a race win now, so confident with him, but with the gap being less than the race win, he only one mistake away from it all falling apart, so he's got to stay on his toes.
Yeah, absolutely. They say, well, one legendary Murray Walker, whoever he is, said, anything can happen in Formula One, and it usually does. So we'll have to wait and see what awaits us for the Japanese Grand Prix. Make sure you are commenting along in the live stream here tonight. Make sure you point out who your favourite driver is, who are you supporting tonight, and who do you think could make the race win here at the Japanese Grand Prix. As you say, Jamie, it is a high aero track. Obviously, you've got the S section at the very beginning of the lap. You've then got the Degner curves as well, and it's very easy to overcommit through the Degner curves, especially through the first Degner. You've got a nice, healthy gravel trap right on the left-hand side as you exit the first Degner, and then, of course, we have the second Degner just going underneath the bridge, where even Lewis Hamilton got caught up onto the curb, spun the car around. We've also seen at the hairpin Danny Kvyat clip the grass and go for a spectacular crash, flipping the car over at such a high speed. And it's a track that most drivers love, but around the corner, the track is not forgiving.
No, I believe in 2009 qualifying we had a change of wind conditions, and about 4 or 5 cars, I believe, binned it in that Degner section just alone. Obviously that was a return after 2 years. There weren't a few drivers, they weren't used to the track, and obviously after that we had the end where all the drivers got on grid penalties. It took about the whole night to get the grid side. But yeah, hopefully we have less of that tonight. But yeah, if you do catch that curb on Degner 2, you can go into that gravel trap and tyre barrier. There's not much runoff there, so you got to be careful.
You do have to be careful, but there it is. There's the bridge section. Obviously, you go underneath it to go towards the hairpin, over it to go towards that legendary 130R, which nowadays, Jamie, is flat out. I mean, especially even if you run low aero in these cars, you can still go through there flat out. Does that take away the sort of challenge that 130R faces, or is it still a difficult corner?
It's still a very difficult corner, obviously. That massive crash from Alec McNish there, and that's what led to the change. But yeah, it's still a challenge. But in these modern F1 cars, though, it takes some challenge away, because the high downforce nature of the track, it can be easy flat. But in the race, with a bit of fuel on board, it becomes more of a test.
We shall see then as we make our way in towards the qualifying session now, and let's have a look at some early predictions then. Make sure you are getting involved in the chat here tonight, as PB Racing, obviously he has a qualifying ban, so he will not be able to take any part in qualifying, but the games have been very kind to him and put him into second place. So in theory, even with a qualifying ban, he could start in second place. Very, very unlikely, considering how many people will be out there setting a lap time.
Even 2009, when people let that happen, there was a very long wait there for the first car to come out. But we've got a first car out now, Jarno in the Alfa Romeo Sauber. So yeah, we'll see how he does. But yeah, I don't know why it's such a long wait for the car to come out. I mean, does this indicate that the race conditions might be different to the qualifying conditions after all the setups? We'll find out shortly.
Yeah, hopefully we're not sort of 30 seconds ahead, which has happened this season. But well, let's put all those doubts to one side. Let's just enjoy some great qualifying for now. Jarno here, as of right now, he would be in 8th place in the championship, probably promoted up to 7th place once the retired Leon is removed from the standings. However, Jarno, 1 win this season, 2 podiums, 2 driver of the days. He's clearly a talented driver, but just 8th place in the championship there, Jamie.
Yeah, as I said before, just consistency. I mean, on pure pace, he's probably top 5, or maybe even higher than that. But he's just involved in he's qualified. He's underperformed qualifying, and so he's around the mid grid. And everybody knows in the mid pack of a race, that's where all the action happens. And he's been involved in several instances. I believe last week he was very unlucky. What happened with him in Russia, that wasn't really his fault, but he's just got to qualify in the top 3 and hopefully just have a clean race there, because we haven't really seen him ever since Austria. We haven't really seen him pull together a consistent race.
Well, here we go then. We're going to ride on board for a lap here at Suzuka, on board with Jarno as he makes his way through turn 18, through this DRS zone, only one of them, and it's a very short, in all things considered, a very short DRS zone now, down towards turn 1, and you're almost braking as you're turning into turn 1. Such a tricky corner to get right, very easy to lock one of the front brakes here through turn 3, then through 4 at the beginning of this S section. Not only is it an S section, but it also undulates. You go over the crest here as you now go through turn number 6, up the hill now through the Dunlop curve, a little bit shaky on the exit there of turn 6, and then flying now through on towards the Degner curves at turns 8 and 9, flying through turn 8 down a gear to 6th, and then down 3 gears into 3rd through the second Degner there. Under the bridge we go and on towards the hairpin of turn 11, braking again as you're turning in towards the corner. Keep it nice and tidy through there. Focus on the exit of the hairpin because you're full throttle now all the way towards Spoon Corner. Through turn 12 we go. It's a long extended right-hander here as you now have plenty of time to pick out your braking zone here for Spoon Curve. Braking after the 50-metre board. Obviously it again gets tighter as you make your way in towards turn 14, but now it widens again and now you're full throttle. Now all the way towards the Casio Triangle and the legendary 130R coming up. You can see the track narrows there as we go past the clubhouse there for the club circuit. Now full throttle through 130R and onwards now towards that Casio Triangle, making our way through 16 and 17 and then down the hill through turn 18. Watch out for the bump here. They really can unsettle the car. Here comes Jarl then towards the start finish line. It's a 128.2 from the Alfa Romeo driver, and Cohen there gets a 128.7. Gavin YouTube 129.3, as I believe Dane Stars lost it out there somewhere. 28.1 from SJ.
Yeah, can't quite pick that up here. Good luck with Miano, but obviously SJ, who has an upturn form recently, finishing in Singapore, and he had a strong qualifying in Russia. The racing go that quite well for him, but yeah, he's looking good, and Will at the top there again for 28.0 after that commanding race win in Russia, where he was on pole by over 7/10. Won the race by over 10 seconds. Obviously, we were waiting for him to win a race, but no, not wait to win a race, just completely cruise. Obliterate the field like he did.
Well, Z3 now making his way in towards the Casio Triangle. Down the hill he'll go towards turn 18. There is that bump there that can really unsettle the car. Here comes Z3 towards the line. 6th place from the Norwegian. Puts him a 128.9 on the board. We've got Suarez making his way towards the line. 11th place for him, as Will G top of the table now. 128.0 with Westy 128.2. We've got Flavel out there. He's making his way now towards Spoon Curve. We've got Slater at the exit of the Spoon Curve. Whereabouts is Forbes? Well, he's making his way out the hairpin. He is not on a flying lap. So Slater then, currently 5th place in the championship, a consistent driver, all things considered, as he now makes his way towards the Casio Triangle. He's got a car there just on the inside. That was a Renault in the end, as he now tiptoes his way through the Casio Triangle. Down the hill he goes and towards the start-finish line. Slater in the Red Bull. It's going to be 11th place, 129.6, but remember, that's on the medium tyre. Flavel then goes top, 27.7 from the McLaren, and Westy has got a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Suarez there, so he is going to be well down the order now, even if he grabs pole position.
Yeah, I think Suarez is on a slightly quicker lap on the hard tyres, but Wesley's down on the softs, and I believe I can see it was coming out the Degner 2. I believe they must have contact there, and Westy hasn't got wind damage though, so I don't know if it's a severe collision, because if it was, you'd think he picked up a little bit of wind damage there, but they're both surviving, and judging by that, it's a pretty harsh penalty.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's pretty cut and dry, especially when the game awards you a penalty like that from the outset, and there's nothing you could do to claim it. We've got Unknown, who now puts a lap time on the board, 128.9, puts him into 8th place. Let's see now, as Suarez, I think, is coming back to the pit lanes. He's set a 145.8 so far, obviously not a representative lap time. Forbes came back to the pits.
No, obviously he invalidated lap or made a big mistake, and he's the bottom of his laps, so he's got a bit of pressure under. But this is a great opportunity for Casse, obviously with Westy getting that grid penalty. But at the moment, looking at this, Westy's going to start ahead of Casse, even with the grid penalty. So Casse has got to improve the qualifying. He's got to take advantage of this and start ahead of his championship rival.
Yeah, just whilst we're here, a big shout out to our race premium members. Of course, Westy is one of them, currently in 5th place. Danestar is the other. They obviously pay a yearly fee. They voluntarily do it, which helps keep the league running with great trophies, and also pays for the trophies that get sent pretty much halfway around the world and other admin stuff behind the scenes. So we really do appreciate it. And if you'd like to know more about donating and contributing to the league, make sure you visit onehubracing.com. Membership is £9.99 per year, so make sure you check it out and donate if you're interested.
Yeah, so you get guaranteed to see it every season. Obviously this season, it's not my first season, but next season, if you want to get a seat, that's probably the best way to guarantee a seat. Obviously, next season, like a few changes next season, so if you want to get in, that's the best way to do it. And obviously last season we talked about delivering trophies. Guess what, last season we had to deliver a championship trophy to Malaysia, and I don't think Nick was happy with the I think Nick got that postage bill, so you got to say he did quite well to pay for that one.
Yeah, he covered it basically, but
yeah.
Right, let's focus back on qualifying. 9 minutes to go. Flavel top, 127.7. Will G in second, 128.0. Race winner last time out. SJ in third, 128.1. Yarnell, 128.2. Westy, 128.2, but he has a 5-place grid penalty. That's your top 5 so far. We've got SJ in the racing point, starting a flying lap here as he now makes his way now down towards turn 1. I just want to ride on board with SJ because here's turn 1. It's flat out as you enter the corner. Then you've got to start doing your braking as you're turning right, Jamie. You have got to have such confidence in the car to be doing that.
Yeah, these guys are incredible. Yeah, I mean that's where I lose most of the time on the braking. I just cannot get the balance. But these guys, they seem to have it nailed. And SJ's got he's really close to. Oh, I thought he was going over the grass there. He's backed out of it, so yeah, he's made a little mistake there, and he's going to have to go again.
Yeah, not ideal for SJ, but he has got plenty of time. At least that's the upside. But for those tyres, they'll have to be put to one side. Albrecht on a flying lap, as is TTG Will G. All the G's in his name as he makes his way in towards the hairpin. Obviously looking to try, and yeah, he's backed out of it as well, pretty much. He didn't get the hairpin absolutely spot on. He is still pushing though, mode 5 on his ERS, but he has now changed that down to mode 0. Kern has just started a flying lap here in the Williams. Albrecht, I wonder if he's on a flying lap. He is. He's in the second part of the spoon curve. Then down the hill he'll go. He's actually got a little bit of slipstream, maybe a little bit of a tow from the Ferrari ahead of him. It will be a very distant tow as we now head towards 130R. It wouldn't surprise me if the Ferrari just pulls over to one side. That is Will G ahead of him, but maybe he's preparing for another go and another lap here on those soft tyres. So here comes Albrecht now, coming down the hill. Will G into the pits as Albrecht comes towards the line, heading to the start-finish line, and 7th place from the Alfa Romeo.
Good lap from him, yeah. Obviously, qualifying's not his strong point, but yeah, that's a decent lap for him as Forbes sticks it on pole there, the 17.6. That's a new target benchmark, and these guys. Qualifying's a bit closer than last week, obviously, with Will G down in third place, but Forbes, that's a good lap from him. We've seen a lot of strong pace in qualifying, but his races sometimes don't go the way where they should. But, you know, it's a good start from him.
Yarnell 2/10 up through the first sector on his personal best lap time. That's going to take him down into the 28.0s, maybe even the 27.9s, as he makes his way now towards the hairpin. One win to his name this season so far. He's clearly got the pace, but at the moment it just hasn't worked for him towards the mid part and towards the end of this season. But still 5 races to go and plenty of time to prove the doubters wrong. In towards the first part of Spoon, now towards the second part. It tightens as you enter the second part of Spoon Curve. Now down the hill we go, up the crest as well. It's a long way towards 130R, and you're full throttle all the way as you head towards 130R. Turn 15, flat out through here. Be careful not to scrub too much speed off in these cars. Heading now down towards the Casio Triangle. Keep it nice and tidy through here. Very easy to invalidate your lap time. Down the hill through turn 18. The back end wants to step out over the bump, and here he goes towards the line. 6th place, 28.1 from the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, he had a really good first set there, but I think he dropped in the middle 2 sets. But still improved though. 6th place, not bad for him, but you want to be a bit higher than that, I think. And you have to say credit to Gavin in the Renault. He got well out the way there, coming out the 130R. So props to him.
Yeah, definitely better safe than sorry, that's for sure. Z3 28.1, which puts him now up to 8th place, but all the way down through turn 18 he had no ERS to deploy, not because the battery was empty, but because he'd used his full deployment rate over the lap. So he's got to be careful about using his ERS in the right place, especially out of the Casio triangle. That's where you want it, down the hill, to help you with your acceleration.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what you need. And obviously, we mentioned this track, because there's not many braking zones. It's quite hard to recharge your battery. In qualifying, it's not a major issue, but in the race, if you're going for overtakes, you've got to be really prudent with that battery, because you can't really. And the main way to charge battery up is under braking, and around here there's hardly any braking zones. So that's one to look out for in the race for sure.
We'll keep an eye on it.
Spun it in the final corner where Kubica went off in the qualifying this year, but he's able to continue.
Suarez making his way now through the Casio triangle, down the hill, through turn 18 and on towards the start-finish line. A little bit out of shape through 18 there, but P13 there from Suarez, 28.9.
Yeah, but he lost a book load time up far on the corner. He's probably a good half second that lap, I think, because the car looks all over the shape. It's not handling well, that Haas.
Will G in 4th place right now, 28.0. He's got a point to prove. He set the early pace. Jarno coming now back towards the pit lane. We've got Z3 who's also coming back to the pit lane. What about Unknown? Well, he's heading through the Degner curves with no deployment, so we might as well ride on board with Will G. He's heading through Degner 2 underneath the bridge then as we head towards the hairpin. Having to pick out your braking zone here. And it's obviously cambered towards the corner, so you can take a little bit more speed through there. But if you take too much speed, the understeer is very real now, heading our way through turn 12. That's the runner there, getting well out of the way towards the left-hand side of the track as we head towards Spoon Curve. And obviously very tricky to get this one absolutely right as you now head out of turn 14, down the hill. Use the downhill bit to help with the acceleration if you need to. Now it's uphill, where of course the engine has to work that little bit harder as you're going uphill towards 130 yard. Turning in again, not to scrub off too much speed there as you turn left down now towards the Casio triangle, and be careful here. It's so easy to get it all wrong there. Watch the bump through turn 18. There it is as you now make your way towards the start finish line. Can Will G put it on pole? Yes, he can. 27.5 from the Ferrari, and puts it on provisional pole position.
Yeah, good luck for me.
Well, let's see what SJ can do then. He's currently on an outlap right now, looking to wind it up and go for a lap through the Casio triangle, trying to make his way through and then down the hill through turn 18, onwards now towards the start finish line to start a new flying lap here in Suzuka. 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Will G leads the leaderboards for 27.5. Forbes is in second, Flavel in third with Kern in fourth, SJ in fifth, Jarno sixth with Cass in seventh, Z3 eighth, Westy ninth, and Albrecht just getting into the top 10 there. As SJ here, well, he's got time for one more lap if it doesn't go well, but the only problem is that this is probably going to be the tyre he starts on, Jamie. If he doesn't get this lap right, it's probably not worth going for another run.
Yeah, if you want to bottle lap, you've got to bottle it really. If you're run around the lap, you're just not going to get a time off with the battery as well. So it's a little bit down the first sector. He's got 6 tenths to get on pole position, which I don't think is that realistic. What he'd look to do is just to try and get closer to Kern, because that's a 3-tenth gap, and he may not be efficient. If he can improve his time, next time have a better time, that might help him keep that 5th place. And this lap, we see how he's doing at the end of the straight here. This is the second sector point. Oh, he's doing it.
He's made contact with Gavin, who tried to get out of his way there, and he gets a 5-place grid penalty. That's very harsh there. Very harsh.
Yeah, so we've got SJ and Westy, both grid penalties. Westy down 9th place at the moment. He'll be starting 14th. He needs to get a good lap in now. So last week had 7 tenths covering first, second. At the moment we've got 7 tenths covering the top 10. So it's a bit closer this week.
Yeah, a little bit closer this time around, which is great to see. But yeah, Westy, as you say, will not want to be down in that order. Skeven makes his way towards the line to get 5th place, 27.8 for the McLaren. And the 2 McLarens into the top 5. Not often we get to see the McLarens, both of them, doing well at the same track. It's either one or the other that has the really good result. But they're both up there this time around. Albrecht's making his way now towards the start-finish line.
Yeah, Skeven has really struggled in qualifying, so that's going to be a good confidence boost for him. Yeah, Jonas is about to start his lap, and I believe 4th on lap. It's going to come to the end of sector 1. We'll see how he's doing. He needs to improve by 10th per second to get pole position.
Well, here he goes through the Dunlop curve and onwards towards the Degner curves end of turn 8 and 9. You can see just clip the grass there and towards turn 8. That can cost you some time if you're not careful. Heading now on towards 10 and then towards the braking zone of turn 11. Keeping it nice and tidy through here. Well up the gears to try and help with the wheel spin. Checkered flag is out. So qualifying is over, but Forbes there on a flying lap, making his way through turn 12 and onwards now towards the spoon curve, through turn 13 and 14. There's a car on the outside here. Got to be careful about rejoining the track. It's Z3 who rejoins. Oh my goodness, there's a Renault facing the wrong way there. I believe that's unknown who's facing the wrong way, but now Forbes might have been a little bit compromised by Z3 there. He'll still continue with the lap as he makes his way through 130R, and he's backed out completely now from the lap. So P2 is all that it's going to be for the Mercedes there. Flavel currently in third. Kern has started a flying lap through the Dunlop curve. We go. Skeeven come back to the pits, as has SJ. Jarnell then starting a flying lap. So it looks like now the checkered flag has come out. We were 30 seconds early, but the checkered flag is out now. So Cass is on a flying lap in towards the hairpin. I believe that is Westy getting into 6th place. But right now he'll be starting outside of the top 10 thanks to that grid penalty. Albrecht here makes his way towards the line, but it's no improvement from the Alfa Romeo driver. Clone is on a flying lap as well. Currently 13th place. Suarez making his way through turn 12. Got to pick up the pace. It's what 28 died as is unknown as he makes his way towards the hairpin. Slater goes up to 7th place on those soft tyres. Improves on his medium lap time. Jarnell through the hairpin he goes. Let's have a look at Kern because he's making his way through 130R. Now towards the Casio triangle. He's got a Red Bull of Cass right ahead of him as well, who's also on a flying lap, making their way now down towards the final corner. Cass, can he improve on his lap time? Yes, he goes up to P8. How about Kern? Well, he gets onto the second row, 3rd place for the Williams. Jarnell making his way now towards 130R. Clone's had a moment at turn 12. He's lost front wing, so that means Unknown and Jarnell are the last 2 cars to set a lap time here. Unknown will be first to the line, then it will be Jarnell, but Unknown is only a couple of hundredths up through sector 2 as he makes his way towards the line, and he stays in P16. How about Jarnell? He goes up to P5, row 3 for Jarnell, and that is Westy now down to 7th place. It gets even worse for the Ferrari driver. Currently, he will be 13th place as he gets there, but we await now Clone to retire from the session. But what that means is that Will G is on pole position for what I believe, Jamie, to be consecutive races.
Yeah, good lap from him. Obviously, a bit. There was under pressure this time because he didn't do such a good first lap, and he's like the bottom of his second lap. So he had to do his final lap, and that was an impressive final lap for him. But some good efforts there from Kern and Ollie Flavel and Jarnell. Jarnell, it's good to see up there as well. He's got 7 attempts between first and second.
Yeah, Will G on pole position, then Forbes is in 2nd with Kern in 3rd, Flavel in 4th, Jarnell 5th with Skeeven in 6th, Westy 7th, Slater 8th, Cass in 9th, and SJ rounding out the top 10, Z3 11th, Albrecht 12th, YouTube Gavin in 13th, Suarez 14th, Clone 15th, Unknown in 16th, PB and Dainstar didn't set a lap time. Of course, PB had the qualifying ban, and 5 place grid penalties for Westy, SJ and Suarez. So Suarez will pretty much be at the back of the grid, and PB's qualifying ban doesn't mean he starts 18th, it means he starts 16th.
Yeah, it's not a bad result for him, obviously, because he's a long way back. But obviously, Westy, he'll be starting all the way back there on old tyres, and old soft tyres, so he doesn't even get a strategy advantage right that far back. He's on the same strategy in front of us, so Westy's got to do some overtaking early on. He doesn't want to let that Championship League slip. No,
absolutely not, and those clouds up above look a little bit gloomy for my liking, but let's hope it holds as we make our way onto the grid and ready for the race. And I must ask you, Jamie, who is your backing for today's race win?
I'm gonna go with Ollie. I think he might.
So he's going with Ollie then, as the man from Jersey has struggled with form as he finds himself 4th place in the standings as it stands. But obviously Jamie is backing him for the race win. How about you? How about your race winner predictions? Let's have your top 3 in the chat. Let's see your predictions, and we'll see if we can go through them, or at least a couple of them, on the formation lap as we now make our way towards that grid and for the formation lap here for the Japanese Grand Prix. And with only 5 rounds left, it really is crunch time for the championship contenders. But Will G will be leading them down towards turn 1. And it's one of those odd grids where, of course, you don't have the inside of the corner as you head down towards turn 1. But what you do have is the racing line, the grippier part of the track.
Yeah. Obviously, we had the controversy. Again, I talked about Senna and Prost. You had the controversy in 1990 where Senna believed he had the wrong side of the grid, and he said he would take Senna out at the start, and he did. So obviously, I don't expect that to happen tonight. But yeah, it is a bit of a weird grid here. It's such a short run, but obviously it's quite a high-speed first corner. So overtaking in the first corner, you have to stick it on the outside and hope the guy gives you room. But these guys, they've had good starts, so I don't expect to see too much instance of turn 1.
Well, obviously, it's that part of the stream, Jamie, where we shout out to our sponsor. So if you could kindly do the honours, please, sir.
Yeah, obviously, this season, Next Level Racing, obviously, that all 4 of our drivers' champions will get a wheel stand delivered by them, which should be White Fountain and Iceland in Podium Tier will get that, and more than likely Louis in Prestige Tier wheels. They'll get a nice wheel stand along with their championship trophies. And you fancy buying one yourself, you go on the website, which is in the description, or search it on your search engines, and if you buy it, check out, put in the code 1HUB10, you get a 10% discount.
Well, let's see how this goes. Of course, the letters or the word 1 Hub Racing and then the number 10. Yes, it's confusing, but we wouldn't have it any other way. Will G making his way pretty laggily towards the start finish line. However, he's making it his own out there, and Forbes is just watching on in the distance and keeping a safe distance. I think that's wise at this point. But we're now making our way through the Casio triangle and towards the start finish line to get to the starting grid to get underway here in Japan. Obviously, the car takes over quite early here at Suzuka, or at least the AI does, to get you to the grid. But with Will G lining up now on the left-hand side of the grid onto the racing line, it means we are moments away here from One Hub Racing Pinnacle Tier here at the Japanese Grand Prix. And, well, from that camera, you can't really see the car, so we'll ride on board with Will G for now as he awaits those starting lights and everybody to form up onto the grid behind him. Just adds to that tension and adds to that willingness to get a good start off the grid. But hopefully those starting lights will be there very shortly, as I believe this is a sellout, this one. There are 5 red lights. They'll go out, and then we'll have the starting procedure. So we've just got to wait now. The cars will go away any time. It's 5 red lights. We are underway, and what are the starts like? It's a good start from Will G, also a good start from Cohn, but look at this start from Forbes then, as we make our way now down towards turn 1. It's Mercedes versus Ferrari. Oh, the Mercedes makes contact, as too does the Williams there of Kern. He just got caught up there, and it's a little bit mayhem down at turn 2. SJ has gone off the track then, as has Clone. We've got Slater. It's carnage now into turn 2. I can't keep up. What is going on in turn 3? Well, it looks like Clone's had a moment too.
Yeah, I believe Slater had a run on Kern, obviously his wing damage, and Slater, he tried to take a void and actually went across the grass and he hit the back of the Williams, and he went spinning, and all sorts of cars got wing damage. But I have to say, Yano did an excellent launch there, but he had nowhere to go. He had to back out of it. I believe the car headed him.
Albrecht is off at the... oh, no, he's not. Never mind. Bit of lag there, never mind, but crazy start at the beginning of the Japanese Grand Prix. But Will G has got the perfect start here. Flavel now up to second, Jarnell into third, with Skeven fourth. We're running on board with Cass as we make our way now through the spoon curve, now in towards the second part. Down the hill we'll go. Slater moves up to 16th, Clone moves up to 13th. But yeah, bit of a crazy start right now. Let's hope it calms down. Clone now up the inside of Kern, but he has front wing damage. I think so too does Unknown. And Unknown, who started this race on the medium tyres, will be ruining his luck there. Skeven looking for a move up the inside at the beginning of the Casio triangle. Not quite there, but he's got a better exit than Jarnell. Down the hill we go. Of course, Will G sets the fastest lap of the race, but look at Skeven looking in the slipstream of the Alfa Romeo of Jarnell as we make our way now down towards turn 1. The McLaren has the outside line, has to tuck back in though into the corner. But look at this Mercedes of Forbes then looking for a move up the inside. Nothing doing there. there. He can't find that way through. He did get caught up a little bit at the start of the race there. He tried to go up the inside of Will G. I think he made contact with the Ferrari. He ran wide. Then that meant the Williams of Kern ran into the back of him. So a little bit of a hectic start there. Forbes is down to 6th place, but we know he has the pace to recover.
Yeah, he's very lucky not to get very damaged there, but he's fine. He's top 6, the bulk away from the rest. And Suarez up 10 places. He was at the very back of the grid. He just kept out of trouble. Look at him, he's up to 8th place. We've got 4 cars in the pits. We've got Kern, Unknown, Champion Leader, Westy and SJ. So Westy, this race about him is just about damage limitation.
Absolutely, you can see Danestar, who didn't take part in qualifying, now up to 10th place, and PB Racing, who had a qualifying ban, is currently running in 9th place. You couldn't write this stuff, even if you tried. Meanwhile, Cass is trying to chase down Skeeve, and then on the exit of the second part of Spoon Curve, down the hill we'll go, still in that slipstream, still lots of battles to be watching up and down the field. We'll keep an eye on Danestar, as he's only a 10th behind PB Racing. Let's see, they're going side by side in towards 130. Danestar has the inside line and holds on, holds true. PB, fair play to him, he backed out of that one, knew it wasn't going to work. Meanwhile, Forbes has got the position from Cass, loses the back end through turn 18. That's that bump that catches so many drivers out. It's caught me out so many times over the years, and it's caught out Forbes here. Luckily though, unlike me, he's kept it out of the wall and in one piece.
Yeah, shame for him though. He did a really good move on Cass into the Casio triangle, outbroke him on the inside line, and he just totally lost it in that bump, and he was very lucky not to hit that pit wall. He could have easily lost the tyre out the race, so he fights another day, but that good move he did has gone to waste.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Ulbricht is in 7th place. He's the highest of the medium runners right now, but PB's off. PB is off there. I'm just trying to figure out where that is. I think that's turn 6, and it is turn 6. So I wonder what happened to PB there. He was running in close company with, I believe, it was Danestar, but no, answer on a postcard, please. Not sure how that happened. Maybe he lost the back end. Yeah, because Danestar was in front of him at that point, as he now tries to push as hard as he can through the Degner curves and picks up the 3-second time penalty for his troubles. But lap 3 of this race, of course, DRS is online, but there's only one place you can use it, down the start-finish straight towards turn 1. That's it. You used to be able to activate it here, and it would turn off automatically through 130R, then switch back on as we headed down towards the Casio triangle. But the FIA saw a little bit of sense and decided not to have DRS through there at all.
Yeah. And DRS is not that really effective down there. What you've got to do to get an overtake, you've got to get really big X out of the Castle Triangle, because if you're behind, the DRS is not that powerful around here, I've noticed in past races. So you've got to really get a good X at the final corner. It's one of the most difficult tracks to overtake on the calendar.
Well, we see Skeven here looking for a move up the inside of Jarnell through turn 2, but the door quickly shut there. Jarnell just didn't get a good run through the first 2 corners there. Almost cost him a position as Skeven saw an open door, but it quickly slammed in his face. Slater, meanwhile, up to 12th place. Obviously, he got caught up a little bit at the start, but kept out of trouble with his front wing, and still running in 12th place, looking now to try and get past Cologne, his next target. Forbes, meanwhile, has caught back up to the back of Cass here as we make our way through the Degner 2, or Degner second curve there, through turn 10 and onwards towards turn 11, looking to put that pressure on the Red Bull. Meanwhile, just ahead of them, Skeven and Jarnell battling away for that last podium position, but Will G still leads ahead of Ollie Flavel, and it is Jarnell in 3rd place, riding aboard with Forbes as we make our way towards Spoon Curve through 13, then towards turn 14. You've got to let the car understeer onto that curve and hope that the car slows down in time. Meanwhile, Danestar putting in a good performance so far at the very beginning stages of this race. He's closing in on Suarez as we now make our way towards 130R. We'll jump back on board with Forbes because he's right on the back of Cass here as we head now down towards the Casio triangle. He's on the outside this time around, but he gets the move done, and the Mercedes is up a position. Meanwhile, Danestar tried to move on Speedy Suarez there, didn't quite work, and then Suarez lost the back end through the Casio triangle, but look how much more grip Danestar has in through the last corner and gets that position. He has DRS as well. Meanwhile, watch out for Gavin. He backs out. He wanted to go for a move down the inside, but backed out of it entirely there, as Suarez still tries to go for a move, but Skeven, meanwhile, up ahead, still putting pressure on Jarnell for 3rd place.
Yeah, it's a good performance of Jarnell and Skeven. They're back up the form, and finding that 3rd place of Skeven was a little bit deep, but gets away with it.
Yeah, gets away with it, fights another day, but that just shows you how much concentration you need here at the Japanese Grand Prix. There is Jarno going through your picture with Skeven following close behind, and Forbes is also in 5th place there. Cass dropping back a little bit, but not too far. He's still there in contention, but look at Forbes here, right on the back of Skeven now as we make our way through turn 12. Oh, there's a little bit of desync there, but Skeven, there you go, he's left the session. So he's left the session completely, and PB's retired from the race. PB out then. So,
yeah, I don't know if that's in the sector 3. I don't know if that's in the pit lane.
I think that could be in the pit lane. I think you're right, because I'm not seeing any yellow flags right now.
Ski rank, that was such a strong race. But also, can rejoin quickly? If you rejoin quickly, you can still be in that battle because there's a 5-second gap to Jonas behind. And yeah, look at just join yellow flags. I think it is a pit lane retirement.
Yeah, it's an easy position for Forbes though. He'll have DRS and a run on Jarno here as we make our way now down towards turn 1. Forbes looking for a move. He'll have to go round the outside at turn 1. Round the outside, he'll try and go. You can see the Alpha's still there. A little bit of contact made, but Jarno stays ahead of Forbes here as we make our way now through turns 3 and 4. And Jarno under a bit of pressure. Meanwhile, Slater has got away past Clone, and he's now up to 11th place. Skeven will be dropping down the order. There is Cass, but obviously, Jamie, it's not as easy as it looks overtaking a ghost car.
No, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that ghost car seems to be still better going. I don't know. Maybe he'll eventually drop off, but yeah, it doesn't seem that easy. But surely now we get a bout. So yes, he does. He's up to 5th place, proper officially. He was 5th place anyway to this thing, but yeah, he's up to 5th place now for sure. Daystar's getting the back of Jonas to 7th place, which will soon become 6th place. So yeah, Daystar's having a good race in the back of the grid.
Meanwhile, Forbes looking for that way past Jarno. Backs out of it this time around, but you can see Jarno running wide on entry. He's looking to try and focus on his exit out of turn 14. But look at this, Forbes will have the slipstream and the ERS. Look at him go. He'll go round the outside at 130R here, powering down at the back straight. And Jarno just simply hands him the position, says there's no point fighting you through 130R. That's not happening. And Forbes now up to 3rd place. Jarno maybe wanted to try and move, but not quite, as we now make our way through the triangle here, down the hill through turn 18, again over that bump, which has already caught Forbes out a little bit today. But Jarno this time around will have some DRS in the slipstream. He'll go. Forbes defends as hard as he can. Now Jarno tries to open that door to the right hand side, then makes the move stick, does he? Forbes looking up the inside, little bit of contact there, but Jarno has got the move stuck there. He takes back that position and back up to 3rd place he goes.
Yeah, I see that. That was tactical for the Jarno there. Maybe he felt like Forbes had a really good run, and maybe he felt, oh, let's not fight this too hard, and maybe play DRS. But even with DRS, you see how difficult it is. He still had to fight it into turn 1 and turn 2. So, yeah, it's not easy. Even with DRS,
oh, Jonas is around! Albrecht's around, and Gavin YouTube has to take invasive action there, all through the Dunlop curve. My goodness, that was close. Jonas Albrecht just dropped it through the Dunlop curve, and my goodness, that was close. Albrecht lives to fight another day with no damage whatsoever, but that would have put a dent in his confidence. Meanwhile, that has allowed Gavin YouTube to go up a position. It's allowed Slater now into the points, but Skeven has now joined back into the lobby now.
He's not that far back either. He's not that far back from these guys, so he can get in the car pretty quickly. He's still in this battle, so yeah.
Unknown, oh, unknown, and that is unknown and Westy. Unknown now gets a 5-second penalty for a collision with Westy. That is at the Dunlop curve as well.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know what happened there. I was caught in but there was a lot of cars that Dunlop corner, and yeah, I think with Jonas losing it, I think Gavin had nowhere to go. He was a very unfortunate party there, and but he's still in a decent position. He's also close to Suarez. He's still in the points finish, and Westy, well, he's trying to limp home to the pits, but his race on the bad to worse. He needs to save the car to get back into this.
Well, Forbes has come into the pits to put on a set of the medium tyres. I don't know whether he'll be able to get those to the end of the race, but I'm sure he'll try. Meanwhile, Flavel has been closing in to Will G on these past couple of laps. He's now within DRS range.
Yeah, but he goes in a bit deep there, gets a penalty though. That might come to cost him in the end. But yeah, Flavel, he didn't have a match for Will's pace in Russia, but it's a lot closer now. I have to say, his managed needs to have a lot better than the Ferrari driver is.
Well, Slater here now in 9th place with Forbes coming into the pits. And you can see now he is trying to close in on Gavin ahead of him. Flavel only now just under 7/10 behind as he makes his way now through turn 14 and down the hill we go. He'll be in the slipstream of Will G as he makes his way towards 130R. He might have a good run of DRS down towards turn 1. He'll be saving his ERS for that exact moment. Try not to scrub off too much speed through 130R and then on towards the Casio triangle, braking as late as you dare. Now going through 17, down the hill we go through turn 18, and you can see there again having to manage the throttle over that bump there. DRS will be wide open, but for Will G, he's done enough there. Cass comes into the pits then from 4th place in the Red Bull. Medium tyres are at the ready, and on they will go. Slater, meanwhile, will have to stay out.
Yeah, and Skivan's back in his car, so he's backing up or back in action, so that's good to see. And yeah, obviously these cars, I do feel the mediums will go to the end. I mean, I'm quite amazed because this track's on quite high tyre wear, but if you get these two softer mediums to the end, then they're doing a good job. And yeah, as obviously Forbes going for this aggressive undercut, but he's been stuck down Jonas. He's got by him there though, and Forbes is looking to put a good lap to the try and close his gap to the front too.
The important thing is though, he's got clear air, and even if he doesn't have clear air, he's got his teammate ahead of him. Z3, we know he's a pretty compliant teammate, especially with Forbes here. He will just jump out of his way when it's convenient. But yeah, this is a chance now for Forbes to get some lap times on the board and pretty much go quali mode now.
Yeah, just got to turn everything up and just go for it. The 25-second gap to leader, so I'll keep an eye on that, see if it comes down. It should do with the fresher tyres.
Well, let's see as he enters the hairpin now. Meanwhile, Gavin is trying and closing in on Suarez ahead of him in towards turn 13, now towards turn 14. As you can see there, he's reeling in that Haas then. The Haas on the soft tyres, must be the tyres losing grip altogether. And Gavin making his way, streaming his way past now as we head towards 130R. Then Suarez tries to duck into the slipstream as Flavel and Yarnell into the pit. Suarez is not done with his move though as we make our way now down towards the Casio triangle, but Gavin YouTube there just does enough to defend the line, and now Suarez decides now's the time to come into the pit. So Yarnell in on go a set of the medium tyres, but where is Forbes? He's making his way now through the final corner and on towards the start-finish straight now. So where will he rejoin in terms of Flavel? Well, there goes Z3, there's Flavel, and there goes Rob Forbes. They're going to be side by side into turn 1, are they? Oh, Flavel got out just ahead of Forbes there, but you can see how much time he's closed up now to Flavel as we head through turns 3 and 4. That was crucial there for Flavel. He knew he had to rejoin ahead. That's exactly what he did. But for Flavel, guess who the car ahead is? It's a Mercedes. It's the Mercedes of Z3 as we make our way now through the Dunlop curve on towards Degner's 1 and 2. I doubt Z3 is going to make this easy for the McLaren.
No, yeah, Ollie's just got to send him inside the chicane, I think, that to the hairpin. He's got to do that. He's got to go for it because he's got the lead to think about.
Here he goes! Down the inside into the hairpin, and Z3 gives him all the room in the world. That was another crucial move that Flavel had to make, and didn't he make it well? Great stuff from the McLaren. He's up for it today.
And he immediately let his teammate through to Forbes on the back of him, but that could have been done a little bit better between two Mercedes out to help each other there for a little bit, and that's how Lloyd pull away as Wheels in the pits. Now will that? No, this is going to be very tight between these two. I think this could be just as close.
Yeah, Will G into the pits. Away he goes on those medium tyres. Let's see where Flavel is. Well, he's now making his way towards the Casio triangle. Skeven also in from 2nd place, having put 10 laps into those soft tyres. That is Danestar there who takes the lead. Will G making his way down the pit lane, but there is Flavel right at the beginning of the straight then. So Will G is going to rejoin quite a distance ahead of Flavel here. He has got penalties, but Forbes then makes the move. He's got past. He's got past Flavel then with the DRS into turn 1, and the Mercedes now moves up to 4th place.
Yeah, it's Will G did a really good job there on his in-lap, and Forbes. So he's just hanging on there, and obviously the DRS, he got the move done, but I believe these two will stop this many more times. These two seem quite even match with pace. Forbes ahead though, that aggressive undercut works, but can he get the tyres to the end?
Well, meanwhile, Jarnel's closing in on Z3 as we make our way towards the second Degner. But look at Flavel right on the back of the Mercedes of Forbes, then through 10 and in towards the hairpin at turn 11. Looking to put the Mercedes under pressure on the exit then. I can't see these guys getting these medium tyres to the end of the race. Surely not. It's going to be a huge task.
I wonder if these clouds will rain on the horizon at the end of the race. We don't know, but maybe they're taking a gamble on the rain. But they're all going for medium, so they must feel pretty confident. But I do feel this race does stay dry. These tyres were really very much second hand in the race. And these guys like Dane, Star and Gavin, that the alternate strategy, it could come to them in the race.
Yeah, the only problem is, though, on those soft tyres, they will be hurting towards the end of the race. Meanwhile, Jarnel still trying to close in on Z3 ahead of him. Let's just jump on board with Flavel because he's got DRS and in range of Forbes then as we head now down towards turn 1. He's in that slipstream and he's closing, looking for the inside move. Down towards turn 1 we go. Flavel takes the inside line and takes back 4th position. It's pretty much a carbon copy move there. Meanwhile, Jarnel looking up the inside of Z3 as we make our way now towards turn 3, and Z3 just about does enough to stay ahead. Meanwhile, Skeven is past Jonas Ulbricht for position there, up to 9th place he goes. Slater now gets the move on Speedy Suarez. Suarez sees the door open there, but it's not quite got the exit he wanted to try and take advantage. But there is Z3 still trying to defend from Jarnel, and he did just enough there.
Yeah, Jarnel was tapping the rear end of the Mercedes coming up turn 4 and turn 5, so he's very desperate to get by, but...
Oh, Suarez! Sorry to cut you off there. Suarez is off into the gravel trap, and not sure how he got there, but that is at turn 6, and he'll now be rejoining the track. That's why there's yellow flags in sector 1.
Yeah, very difficult trap. See a few mistakes tonight so far. Another guy getting caught out on that first sector. There's Jarnel, he's so much more confident on the braking, but you can't get the move done here. You've got to get it done into the capital triangle, or let Z3 run by then. It's got a good run into 130R. Surely, go off the inside line here and get the move done.
He could be side by side here, you know, through 130R, and Jarnel takes away the racing line. He now moves up to 6th place as we head towards that Casio triangle. Meanwhile, Will G right on the back of YouTube here as we make our way now down towards turn 1, and there you can see Gavin not even fight it, heading down towards turn 1. He knows not to fight that one, so Will G now moves up to 2nd place. Forbes, meanwhile, once again in front of Flavel as they swap positions down in towards turn 1 once again. Jarnel this time is through past the Z3 and can now try and start to build a gap. So Dane Star leads, although he is yet to stop, and Will G is 3.7 behind him.
Yeah, Will G, a couple of laps, be in the back of that racing point, but Dane Star will be in. Maybe try and get some every laps 16, 17, 6 soft onto the end. That's his plan of action, but I think we'll catch him by then. And it's interesting enough, when Ford passed Ollie there, Ollie did set the fastest laps. These two guys, they are dragging themselves along, but they've got to get past his Renault pretty quickly because he's going to hold them up. And these front three are pretty much pace, but Will G, with them laps around the pit stops, he's got to have a nice little buffer. So he's got some ground, but he's got a nice comfort zone, but it's not over just yet.
Cass is now closing in on Z3 for 7th place. Of course, Z3 yet to stop in this race. Cass is on relatively fresh medium tyres, and you can see there on the entry into turn 13 how the grip difference Z3 has against Cass. As you can see the slipstream now, he'll pull to the left hand side. I don't think Z3 is going to make too much of a battle of this, but Cass now moves up to 7th place. Meanwhile, Flavel once again looking to try and get away past Forbes. You can see there Forbes didn't get a good entry into turn 17 there. Might that cost him down this main straight then? You can see how much quicker Flavel is with that DRS open. Swoops past him like he's not even there and in towards 4th place once again. But Forbes is, I've noticed, been doing the exact same thing. As Skeever now moves up the inside against Z3, aggressively takes that position away. He's not taking any prisoners there. His next target is Cass in 7th place.
Yeah. You need to get it done there because he's fighting Cass' position. If you're stuck down Z3 for this first sector, they lost a lot of ground. But yeah, you have to get that move done. Skeever really, obviously, he was a bit affected by this connection, but he's still in there. He's going to be on for a good point so he keeps this up.
Well, making his way now towards the Degner curves as Cass loses it a little bit on the entry into 8 there. Just took too much curve. The car got a little bit unsettled. And Skeeven's one of those drivers, if he sees a mistake like that, he's going to jump on it. He's going to capitalise wherever he can. Yellow flag somewhere in sector 1.
lost it in the S's. You know, he just went over the grass.
And he's on warm tyres already, so that won't have helped him at all. Meanwhile, Suarez now will see this as an opportunity to try and get past for P14. Will he try and move up the inside of the Degner curve? No, wisely he backs out of that one in towards turn number 9.
Yeah, Ollie's going to catch the back of Gavin, and this could be got opportunity for Flavel. If he gets past Gavin down the straight and Forbes doesn't it, he can maybe pull a little gap. But it's a long way, it's quite a fair bit back here, so it's going to be quite difficult to move into turn 1. I don't think it's on moving to turn 1 for the McLaren drive. I'd show you the poor exit out the Castle Triangle.
Yeah, although both of them, Flavel and Forbes, have incredible straight line speed with the DRS, they both couldn't close in on Gavin, at least not yet.
Skivan has passed Casse for 7th place, so the McLaren drives in position, and Casse he's not taking advantage of Westy's troubles, you have to say. He's going to be on for maybe 6th, 7th place if you want to do better than that, personally.
Yeah, we saw that move just going into the Casio triangle for Skivan there as he got the move done. Flavel, though, is in a little bit of a tricky situation. He's got Gavin right ahead of him, but he's also got Forbes right behind. And for Forbes, well, for Forbes, looking at the championship, 6th place for him. This is Flavel, who's currently in 4th place, but he's got a lot of points to make up against Westy and Cass. This is exactly the scenario he wanted. However, he's got to try and score as many points as he possibly can to try and have a hope in getting anywhere close to that championship as we head towards the final handful of races. But you can see now Flavel's got a great exit out of the spoon section as Gavin will try and move to the left-hand side, but he's going to be right on the inside for 130R. Will he back out of this one? Oh, he just about does. Flavel gets the move done. How about Forbes? He now has to go round the outside in towards the entry of the Casio triangle. Very close there, but Forbes gets the move done ahead of Gavin, and that was a crucial one. Once again, Forbes following Flavel through. How important that is, and look at this now once again with the DRS as he flies past, heading now down towards turn 1.
Yeah, Gavin dived from the pits. We've noted more of that. He's on the soft tyres. He's got to go 12 laps on soft tyres. Quite a long way, but we can see how he gets on.
Yeah, absolutely. But Gavin, obviously into the pit lane, he goes onto the soft tyres as we head towards the final 12 laps of this race. Danestar still leading the way. He's on 15-lap-old medium tyres at this moment in time. Will G is in 2nd place on 5-lap-old medium tyres. And he's closing in now. 9/10 of a second is all that separates himself and Danestar, with Forbes in 3rd, Flavel in 4th, Jarno in 5th, Skeev in 6th, Cass in 7th, Z3 8th, Ulbricht in 9th, and that is Slater rounding out the top 10. There you can see the two different lines heading into the hairpin. It almost looked like Forbes lost it under braking there, but what he was actually doing was trying to lock the brakes so he could turn into the corner better to prioritise his apex, and that worked. So he's actually increased his gap to Flavel behind, whereas Flavel was going for a more controlled approach through the corner, which ultimately cost him his exit speed. So those are the two strategies going on here. Forbes' strategy in terms of that hairpin will obviously be a detriment to his tyres, but in terms of pace, they're working. Yeah,
it is, yeah. But yeah, Flavel obviously is in the save tyres a bit more, and Forbes got 2 more laps tyre life, so he won't many more fun. He won't keep care of him. But he got a good exit there. But Flavel still got an opportunity. This DRS a bit more powerful for what he was. But I think he's going to set down the inside. Surely, no, he backs out of it. And Will G has passed Danestar for the lead. So Danestar is down to 2nd place, and Will G's got some clear air now, so he can pull the gap again.
Yeah, absolutely. Flavel here just wanted to try that move on Forbes into turn 1, but the door was just always closing for him. And I think that's the first time in this little battle we've had, the first lap I should say, that positions haven't swapped at turn 1 between these two. So quite interesting there, and just to see how powerful the DRS actually is.
Yeah, Forbes made a little mess the Pinnacle Tier, but he tied up nicely to the exit, and he didn't lost that much time.
Suarez here making his way towards turn 1, trying to close in on SJ. He's closing up very rapidly to the back of that car. Just about kept it under control there, under his own power, but just about trying to close in on that racing point. Of course, here in One Hub, you do get a point for the fast lap, not only inside the top 10, but outside of the top 10 as well. So it's that extra incentive to stay in the race. Expect those outside of the top 10. Yeah, people like Westy, Clone, SJ and Westy.
He'll definitely do it, Westy. He'll definitely go for it.
Yeah, because he's down in 16th place right now. If there's a chance that you can get an extra point in the race, you would surely take it. Meanwhile, then Flavel still 6/10 down. Danestar finally into the pits then from what was 2nd place. Let's see where he re-emerges. But Flavel, to me, looks too far back from Forbes right now. Forbes has had a really good lap and has managed to pull out the gap between himself and the man from Jersey, Ollie Flavel. It's Jarno then in 4th place, Skeven in 5th. I wonder where Danestar is going to re-emerge. I think this is...
Gavin is, I believe.
Well, let's see. Gavin riding on board with him. Let's see Danestar. There he is, exiting the pit lane. So Danestar re-emerges in 8th place. And I have to say, Joey, from 17th place, he has had a brilliant race.
Yeah, and he's got James Slater just 2 seconds ahead, so you feel really confident getting him, and he can get a top 7 out of this. And if the top 6 win in trouble, he can get a top 6 from the back of the grid. Very impressive on his return. Obviously, he did return in Russia, didn't have the best of races, but he's showing his class here from the back of the grid. So good drive from Danestar, and he's on the back of James Slater already, so he should get that move done pretty easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he obviously retired from lap 2 of the Russian Grand Prix on his own power, as SJ's now retired from the race altogether, and that is our 3rd retirement here of the race. It's always a little sad when you're outside the top 10, but there is that extra incentive to go for the fastest lap of the race bonus point.
You never know. You never know if in the lap safety car may come out. You never know. I know. It's come out a lot more often than the recent update, so I never give up hope, especially the point fastest lap.
Well, Flavel here still trying to close in on Forbes ahead of him, but there you can see it's just not quite enough. It'll be interesting to see, Jamie, what the penalties are like with 9 laps to go.
Yeah, I believe Flavel's got 1 out. I believe that popped up early on. Penalties are not that common around here, so I believe all the drivers have a penalty, so it's evenly matched for stakes. But yeah, obviously Will G's got that 3-second gap, but if he makes a mistake, gets a penalty, he can drop out 3rd place. So he's got to really concentrate on keeping his car on the lines perfectly, because he's doing a good job of it so far. But them 2 behind, they're not that far off. Jarno's doing a good job in 5th, 4th. This is more like it from the Alfa Romeo driver, and Skeven in 5th. They're having good races, and nice to see from them too.
Yeah, absolutely. With Jarno, obviously has a win this season, but Will G has been absolutely brilliant since he joined. Obviously, he was a mid-season signing for Ferrari. 63 points next to his name, up in 7th place, and could go even higher than that. He could overtake Forbes. Today, the gap between them is 8 points, so it wouldn't be enough. He'd be behind Forbes by a single point. However, I'm sure he'll be hoping that Flavel can give him a helping hand there. Yeah,
obviously them 2 guys were top position all race, and yeah, obviously Will, he's had a real upturn of fortune, but I think that puncture in Italy has really galvanised his hopes, and he's not looked back from then, really. He wasn't here, he didn't race in Singapore, but Russia, well, that was one of the most commanding races we've seen all season, and today he's not been as comfortable at pace wise, but he's definitely kept it clean, and he's got the pole position, and he got the good start, and he's just been ahead of everybody, and he's had the good laps on the pit stops, and he's got this lead to protect. If Danestar sets the fastest lap, and he's got 7 seconds to Cass. That could be doable, you know. He could catch him, but would he run out of tyres when he gets there? That's what we've got to keep an eye on, as Cone's in the pits. He's going to go on the soft tyres. I believe everybody has made their scheduled pit stop now. The next pit stops after this will be the ones going to fastest lap. Yeah, so it could be a very busy pit lane. I think 4 or 5 cars will be coming into the pit lane then. Well, Cologne will be trying to hold on to that last point scoring position. Meanwhile, Olbrook to Z3, Suarez there, maybe Kern and Westy as well. I mean, Westy, well, what a disaster of a race it's been for our championship leader. Yeah, he's got more like instant lap 1. Obviously, with the grid penalty, without the grid penalty, he may not have been down there. And he was down there due to the grid penalty, and I believe later on, another car spun into him. So yeah, it's not been a good race for him. But I've been on board with his lap times. His race pace is pretty strong still, so he's not dropped his head. But it's going to be a point of fast lap, unless something amazing happens last few laps at best for the Ferrari driver. So, but good to see him there. He's still giving a good attitude. He's still doing the laps. He's still concentrating. You never know in racing, you never know what may be around the corner.
of course, it's not guaranteed that he'll get the fastest lap of the race. We've seen in the past, the likes of Albrecht and Z3 and Kern as well, who's quite a quick driver.
Yeah,
he's right on the back, actually, of Suarez, if we have a look aboard. Yes, here he goes.
Pit stop as well, because he may get lapped by his teammate if he didn't time to pit stop right. So he's got to come on the right lap and get his battery and everything perfect. And he's going to have clear air set to have the attempt, as Suarez and Kern are fighting for 13th place, getting very close to the Castle Triangle. Suarez will get a good exit out the final corner. He should have the win into turn 1, but Kern does well there. Suarez has a bit of a moment on the bump, but Suarez got the win here, and surely down the inside he should get his move done. He's in range, but backs out of it.
Kern there just about holding on as Albrecht was trying to find a way past Z3 there. In fact, I think it might have been the other way around, but in any case, Z3 is now in 11th place with Jonas Albrecht in 12th. Of course, had that moment at the Dunlop curve earlier on in the race, was lucky not to be collected by anybody, especially by Gavin here, who's right on the back of James Slater as they now battle away for 8th place with 7 laps to go. My apologies, 7 and a bit, I think it is. Yes, now 6 laps to go. There we go. I knew it wasn't far away to 6 laps to go. But Will G leads the way from Forbes in 2nd, Flavel in 3rd, Jarnell 4th with Skeven in 5th place. Cass is in 6th, Dainstar 7th with Slater in 8th, and Gavin is right behind Slater here as we make our way through the Casio Triangle. Down the hill we go again over that perilous bump and into the slipstream. Gavin will go, and look how much he's closing on that Red Bull. Pulls to the right hand side with that DRS on the soft tyres, and that was a pretty straightforward move from Gavin there as he now moves up to 8th place.
Yeah, I think Max Simon is glitched on that. They were both on 0 ERS, and I highly doubt that. I believe Gavin was on the high battery mode there, so yeah, Gavin got the move in pretty easy. I don't think James Slater thought too much. He's on quite old mediums, he's looking to get to the end, and he knows that Gavin's a much quicker driver and much quicker tyres. So, it's Gavin loses it again! Dunlop!
Big moment there from Gavin, and as you say, another moment where he's almost, well, he didn't lose it that time, but he did before, so Hart would have been racing there, no pun intended, at that one, but he's still in 9th place, still 14 seconds separates himself from Clone, so not the end of the world from him, but with those grass on his tyres, that might have just made sure his tyre wear condemns it.
How James Slater, I've been panicking there, sitting out, I'm telling you, I'm not with the key. And thankfully for James Slater's sake, he didn't come on track until he's well past, so yeah, he's going to have to cool his tyres down now and maybe try and attack later on, but yeah, as you say, the tyre wear will ramp up because of that, so yeah, that might be the chance of 8th place gone for the Renault driver. There's Ollie and Forbes, sort of, they're not really swapped positions much anymore. Forbes has sort of cemented his 2nd place, I have to say, but Ollie's still right there, and I wonder if Ollie's maybe saving, maybe going for attack later on, maybe fancies that, to maybe catch the young Mercedes driver off guard.
Albrecht here looking for a move against Z3 into the Casio Triangle, but backs out of it. He's got Kern behind him though, as you can see, taking a much different line is Albrecht now as he makes his way through turn 18. He's looking for any possible route past Z3. This time it's going to be on the right hand side down the start finish straight, and Albrecht there with the DRS takes away 11th place from the Mercedes there, and now Z3 has Kern for close company, and look at him go. He's got the fastest lap of the race so far as we have a look at the fastest lap. So you can see the only driver at the moment into the 129s is Kern, 29.9, so he's got the fastest lap of the race outside of the top 10 at the very least. The fastest lap of the race inside the top 10 is Dainstar at the moment. Z3 running wide on the Dunlop curve as he has to go around the outside. He'll be on the inside for the Degner curves, but there's just no way through for the Mercedes, and Kern now is up to 12th place after that Z3 mistake.
Z3 wisely backed out of there though. He saw Kern on the inside line, he didn't want to risk both the cars there, so good drive for them. Good sensible driving there for the two, and Kern gets through and he will attack Jonas for 11th place. Kern qualified 3rd, so obviously that mistake was costly for him because he could have been the fight for the podium, and that has really just dampened his spirits. And well, there's an outside chance of a point if something happens to the cars ahead, but realistically these guys are fighting 11th place, and obviously that they'll all come in probably with 2 laps to go and go for that fastest lap, because the gap to 10th place is over 8 seconds, and I can't see that coming down by that much on for 3 or 4 laps. So
Well,
they'll all be coming in again.
Well, to me, Kern is pitted now. He's on 4-lap-old soft tyres. I don't think he's got much left in terms of tyre choice if he were to come in. However, he's closing right onto the back of Albrecht then as we head through turn 2, as Z3 now picks up a 3-second time penalty for his troubles as we head through turns 3 and 4. Still Kern right on the back of Albrecht then. Through turn 5 we go. You can see Kern here taking slightly different lines. There's a little bit of lag going on there, but now we're back underway under these stable conditions now. Through turn 7 we go in towards the Degner curves of turns 8 and 9. Kern's still right behind that Alfa Romeo with only a handful of laps to go. Can he try and find that way past that Alfa Romeo? He knows he can get it. He knows it's there on a plate. But there's one thing being so close to it and another thing actually making the move stick. Flavel, frustratingly, just cannot seem to catch Forbes even down the straight here in towards turn 1. Skeevan trying his best to try and close in on Jarno as well.
Jarno. Yeah, Skeevan and quite good grades there. That disconnection cost position Jarno to get it back. Kern, he's on the back of Jonas here, but he can't really get. He's got to really commit a lot earlier to get moving 130 yards. So what we've got to do is got to try and get a good run through here, sit down inside the catch triangle. We've got to go around the outside, which should become the inside and the exit, but Jonas defends it well there, but Kern should get a much superior exit out of here, and he should have a run into turn 1. Jonas gets a decent exit there, but Kern, this DRS should allow him to drive by.
Yeah,
and it does.
And he makes the move stick even before braking in towards turn 1, well before braking in towards turn 1 there, and he just takes a wider line to try and get the better exit there as Suarez is into the pit lane. He's going to try and go for the fast lap of the race outside of the top 10 as Skeevan, well, both McLarens are trying to chase the respective car ahead, but they're both around a similar distance behind and they're both just staying in that bubble there. They just can't seem to close in on their
Z3 went up the inside of Jonas there and decked 2, and the green wasn't there, and he spun around and he's dropped well down, and if he's got any tyres left he'll be pitting to go for that fastest lap because any chance of a 10th place finish has gone up in the air there.
Absolutely. Well, Flavel here still trying to find a way past. Meanwhile, Skeevan here. Jarno goes defensive in towards turn 1. Skeevan will have to go round the outside into turn 1, then into turn 2. Oh, they make contact. Jarno's around at turn 2 as he spins up the rear tyres there. Well, they've made contact there. Jarno will have to get back onto the track. He's got to be careful about Cass because Cass will come through. Oh, Jarno blocks him off there as he heads in towards turn 3. Jarno is obviously not happy with that, but he's got to keep his cool now because he's got Cass right behind him.
Yeah, Daystar's 2 seconds behind, so these two get together. Daystar could jump to 5th place incredibly. He's right there, but I think he's going to run out of laps unless these two come together.
Well, Jarno here will just have to get those tyre temperatures back under control. Of course, after a spin, it does take a while for those tyres to get back under control, especially temperature-wise, as we head into the hairpin here. Z3 picks up a 5 seconds penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Your prediction has come true. He did come back to the pits to put on a set of those soft tyres.
And Westy are both in as well. They're going for the fastest lap. Obviously, Kern's staying out, so he's up to catch Clone. Obviously, he's in 4.7 seconds. He'll get that within 3 seconds, and Clone has an extra penalty. He may get the points, but it's going to be a very tall order, I think, on them oldish soft tyres. Mind you, Clone's on old mediums, so that could be an interesting line, as Flavel has gained a lot on Forbes here. He's got the opportunity, but Forbes defend that inside line, and Flavel is a long way back. He's saving the battery. I can see he's saving the battery for the final lap, but it's the final lap now, so that was...
So, it is the final lap, and Will G is leading the way, 3.7 seconds back. Oh, he has a little bit of a moment there out of turn 6, but kept it under control. Obviously, penalties will decide how this order finishes, but he's going through the Degner curves now. Cass still trying to close in on Jarno ahead of him, but Jarno's got those temperatures back under control. Flavel will be going for the lap of his life right now. Will G heading in towards the hairpin. Can he make it? Back-to-back wins. He won last time out in Russia by a commanding lead. It hasn't been as commanding this time around. But I tell you what, he's got the strategy right. He got the driving style right too, as he now makes his way in towards the spoon curve. He's got back markers ahead of him. I doubt he'll be too concerned about that one as he makes his way now down the hill as we head towards 130R for the final time. The Ferrari here has had a great day, currently 7th in the championship. Ferrari are leading the constructors by quite some distance. It could be an extension of that great lead they have over the rest of their rivals. Will G making his way now through the final corner for the final time. Will G makes it back-to-back wins and wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Forbes will come across the line in 2nd place. Flavel in 3rd. Oh, Skeven's lost the back end. He hits the wall, but he makes it to the checkered flag and finishes in 4th place. Jarno here has got Cass and Dainstar right behind him as he heads towards the start-finish line. Let's see how they finish then as they come across the line. Dainstar up to 6th thanks to penalties there, with Cass in 7th place. James Slater moves up to 7th as well as Gavin finishes in 9th. Clone then should be able to come home and comfortably get the points, or the last point of the race, barring any penalties, of course. I think both of them have had penalties in this race, but let's see then Clone making his way towards the start finish line. He will grab the final point on the board, at least a point scoring one, as Kern will finish in 11th place. Albrecht then making his way down, he's in 12th place. So now it's a battle for the fastest lap of the race between the final runners, and Speedy Suarez is around there, and that is his chance of a lap time, or the fastest lap time, gone out of the window. Let's see then Kern then, he is 130.7 from him. How about Albrecht then? He's making his way towards the checkered flag now to finish in 12th place. Will he try and go, or will he get that fast lap of the race? Yes, he will. 29.7 from Albrecht. We've got Z3 and Westy still to finish the race and still to get their fastest laps on the board. Z3 makes his way towards the line. Can he grab one? He can't. How about behind him, just Westy? He moves up to 13th, but that doesn't look like he got the fastest lap of the race to me. And Speedy Suarez then coming towards the Casio triangle as he now makes his way towards the checkered flag to finish off this race, and he'll be gutted about that one because of course he got damage on that final lap. But your race winner here for the Japanese Grand Prix, it is back-to-back wins for Will G.
Yeah, congratulations to him. Obviously another commanding drive for him, and obviously 25 points yet again, and he's putting up a charge. And if he joined a little bit earlier, maybe he'd advanced the championship battle, but obviously he joined late. He hasn't really hit form until this Asian leg, but obviously he'll be enjoying that race. And Forbes and Ollie they were pretty close together that whole race. Top 3 had the pace of everybody else, but I'd say good drive as well from all the top 6. I was impressed by Skivan, good 4th place finish, and obviously Dainstar as well. What drive he had in 6th from the back of the grid.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll take you through the official, unofficial results here for One Hub Racing Pinnacle Tier. It is Will G who grabs back-to-back wins and wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Forbes is in 2nd place with Flavel finishing on the podium. Skeven in 4th with Jarno in 5th. Dainstar finishing in 6th with Slater 7th. Cass in 8th with Gavin in 9th, and Clone rounding out the top 10. It's Kern in 11th, Albrecht 12th, Westy 13th, Z3 14th, Speedy Suarez 15th, SJ and Unknown and PB all not finishing the race. Fastest lap outside of the top 10 was, I believe it's going to be, I'm just trying to have a look now, fastest lap outside the top 9. It was Jonas Albrecht by half a tenth there, and gets that fastest lap of the race. And I believe fastest lap inside the top 10 was Dainstar with a 130.5, which brings us on to the topic here. Fastest lap of the race. We've already been over that. Driver of the day, Jamie. Who's your nomination?
Well, just for keeping it, I'll let go for it as an outsider. Just for keeping it calm, keeping it steady, driving a good race in that alternate strategy, taking a really impressive 9 points actually, because he got the fastest lap. Go for Dainstar in the racing point. A good drive from him, and well-deserved 6th place finish.
You see, you've given me the dud one, because there's so many drivers here that have had a good race that it's nigh on impossible to pick one. Well, I'm going to be wrong whichever one I pick. Everyone's made that perfectly clear this season. So many good performances. I mean, you took the Dainstar one away from me, so I can't have that one. I'm under pressure. Well, Will G had a commanding performance, but I don't think it was as commanding as it was in Russia. I think I'm going to give my driver of the day to Skeven. 6th to 4th, pretty confident race. He had the pace towards the end there, just couldn't quite close in. Had quite a few penalties as well, but even so, he was on the right tyres at the right time and made some great moves out on the track. So he's going to be my driver of the day.
Yeah, let's not forget he had that disconnection as well. So he rejoined and he lost the tower at disconnection. He lost the pack, so to cover well to get 4th place. Yeah, that's a good nomination.
Yeah, I totally thought about that. Anyway, that will be the 2 nominations you can choose over on OneHub's Twitter page, of course, at OneHub Racing. You can go follow the league. Driver of the Day nominations will be between those 2, and you get to pick. How lucky are you? Driver of the Day nominations will be up tomorrow, so make sure you vote for the driver you thought is worthy of that title. And whilst you're there, you can also follow me on Twitter if you really want. It's at KS McGinley. You can also follow Jamie on Twitter at JamieMet92. And don't forget, you can also follow our sponsors, Next Level Racing. They are at Next LVL Racing. Well, Jamie, next up we have, I believe, it's Mexico.
Yeah, obviously Mexico. Obviously, it's a track that had that divides opinion. Obviously, it's a track that it's a very interesting track. Obviously, you've got the crowd appeal there. And Mexico is a track where like very long straight into turn 1, a very long run into turn 1, and you've got the stadium section, which is a bit Mickey Mouse, but the fans, it's certainly good for the fans, and you've got another Essex section there as well. Not a bit different to the Suzuka Essex, but Mexico's an interesting track, and it tends to be better. It tends to offer up some good races and strategy. Maybe some different strategies in that race. I fancy maybe. I think there might be some alternate strategies compared to what we had today. So should be a good one. The championship leads down to 19 points, I believe, with quick mental maths. So the championship battle goes on. Westy will be disappointed, but he's got to take heart that he didn't lose that many points. He can bounce back next week and have a much better race.
Absolutely, and hopefully you will join us next week at the same time of 8:30 GMT. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been Joe Metcalf.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.
Good night.